weather looking good. Also, traffic looking good at the moment. Fingers crossed it stays that way. We are joined by Geoffrey Riesel, who is a part of the London-based Radio Taxis Group as their chairman. Geoffrey, thank you for joining us here this morning. So, traffic seems to be flowing quite well at the moment. No major gridlock on London's routes. Is that job done? Are you satisfied with the way things have started?
Well, no, not quite. One hopes that people will be able to get around. Obviously, during the Olympics, because of the school holidays, one expects about 15% less traffic. And, of course, all the signs that have been up from TfL warning people, we also reckon another 15% less. But it's going to be tough. It is not going to be easy. Certainly, my industry are going to have to use all their guile, all their knowledge. They don't need a sat-nav to get you out the traffic. They're going to have to do their best to get passengers out of it. But nobody expected it to be easy. You know, they called it business as abnormal. And everybody has to allow a bit longer. If you're going to a venue, if you're going by taxi or other road transport, take a bit of extra time.
It's early days at the moment. Do you expect it to get a whole lot worse, though?
Not necessarily. We do expect it to be difficult, which is why we've been warning people for the last couple of years. I mean, most of the trade organisations have been talking to LOCOG and TfL for about 2 years, and to be fair to them, they've made a lot of concessions about taxis being able to turn right at various places, cross the games lanes, which they couldn't do before, and even enter part of the games lanes in certain parts, you know, the M4, for instance. It's not everything that we want by any means, but in the end... What
did you want, then?
Well, certainly the industry would have liked, the taxi industry would have liked being able to use the games lanes. I mean, there's been discussions about being able to pick up disabled people, for argument's sake. If a person in a wheelchair hails a taxi and it's on the far side of the games lane, he can't pull over to pick them up and put the ramps out and help them. So that is a bit of an issue. But to be fair, LOCOG and TfL, with the majority of the industry, have been cooperating and working with us. And the truth is, we're 2 days away now, or a day and a half away. We're not going to change a lot, and we recognise the world is looking at us. And so we need everybody to get behind the games.
Is that your message? We know that there have been protests recently involving certain, quarters of this industry, certain taxi drivers, and, that you can understand their position, perhaps, but is
Absolutely.
it a case of just getting on with it now?
Well, look, the reality is I totally understand how they feel, especially if you're stuck in traffic, especially if they're concerned about being able to take a living, because if they can't move people around, people will get out their cabs and they'll be empty, and of course all of them have mortgages to pay. I understand that completely. However, the majority of the industry has been talking to the authorities. The majority of the industry has got concessions. The reality is it is going to be tough, and we are not going to change anything at this point.
Just really quickly, are cabbies going to be doubling their fares over this period?
No. Taxi fares staying absolutely the same.
Good. That's good to hear.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us, Geoffrey.
You're welcome.